Good morning and welcome to Write with Rachel. I'm Rachel and I'll be your guide today. Today I'm going to be dividing this workshop into two parts. For those of you who are not familiar with the tilt writing method, I'm going to give you a quick intro. If you know the method and you'd like to switch directly to the writing section, you can go ahead and forward. I'll put the timestamp in the description below. Okay, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the method, let's get started. So the tilt fiction method is something I created after I challenged myself to write 30 short stories in 30 days. I did this because I've always had a more difficult time writing fiction. I've always had plenty of ideas, but for some reason, it was always hard for me to finish a story. This may be because I have ADHD and I just needed a way that I could put some easy constraints, not too many, but just a few on myself so I could actually finish something. So I developed the tilt method. So every tilt method begins with a story prompt. So the prompt is governed by the days. So today is Wednesday. So on Wednesdays, we have our roll the dice prompt. So on Wednesdays, what I do is I roll the dice. The first roll is going to be for the month. So this one would be for the month of June. The second roll is for the date. So this would be June 5th. So then what I do is I go to my computer and I look up a fun national holiday for June 5th. And the first one that comes up here is National Donut Day. So in this example, we would use National Donut Day as our prompt. Now that we have our prompt, we're going to come here to our Story Spark sheet. So our Story Spark sheet is something that we've prepared. The Story Spark sheet is on a 8.5 by 8.5 sheet of paper. And I've simply prepared it by drawing 5 circles. I just use an old bracelet. So I just draw one in the middle and then 4 surrounding. Then I take a ruler and I draw lines. As I start to explore the prompt, what will happen is I will go through and I will improvise 4 different story ideas, and these story ideas will connect with the concept of National Donut Day. So I'll start with one idea here, then I'll switch to another one here, and so forth and so on. Once I've improv these 4 story ideas, it'll be time to switch to the writing process. So I'll move from our story spark sheet to my tilt template. The tilt template looks like this. The tilt template is also a piece of 8.5 by 8.5 piece of paper. To create this, I just take my paper and then I use a ruler to draw lines diagonal, and then I draw one across the bottom. Each part of the tilt template has a specific purpose. The first one is where you're going to introduce your character, and I do that with my green pen. The second one is where you're going to make sure that you tell us what the character wants, and I do that with my pink pen. The next section is the tilt. Now this is where the character encounters an obstacle to what they want. You want to make sure that you've introduced the tilt by this point. I do that with my red pen. In this next section, you have the wrap. This is when the character has to find a way to overcome what they just encountered in the tilt section. I do that with a blue pen. Then I tilt my paper one more time, and with my light blue pen, I do the wrap up. I also consider this the last word. This is that satisfying aha moment for the reader where they think, oh, that's what happened. Something to kind of, you know, wrap up the story. Something clever, if you can think of it, or something intriguing, or just something to kind of even leave the story hanging. Now, I recently had a friend ask me, well, Rachel, what do the colors stand for? So I thought I would give you a little insight into that. So green is for the character. You're inviting the character and you're starting the story. So green is for the go. The character is entered, they're telling us about their story, and go. You're starting the story. The pink is for what does the character want? It's kind of their heart's desires. You can think of that desire as their heart. So pink for their heart. The red is for the tilt. It's, something that's difficult. It's a hard. It's something they wish they could stop, but they can't. You can think of it as like, that octagon, that stop sign. Then you have them overcoming what just happened. They're trying to figure it out. It's blue. It's hopeful. They're working towards it. And then you have that last word in the light blue. And that's just, again, they're working from that dark blue into the light blue. Again, it's just that hopeful resolution of the story. So that's what the colors mean. Now, what if you don't like those colors? It's fine. You don't have to use my colors. You can assign your own colors. However, I do suggest that you choose colors and that you be consistent with your colors throughout the process. And why is that? It's because you want to connect the colors and your sections so that as you're writing, your brain will become familiar. Your brain will remember what to do when you get to each section. This will make your story writing easier and easier every time. So that said, let's come back to our story spark, and we are going to officially start today's workshop. I'm going to put my pens back in order over here, so when we get ready to start writing the story, I will have them ready to go in order. So, welcome to today's writing workshop. Let's roll the dice, and today let's do a month with a 1 digit. So our month today is going to be the month of, let's see, I guess we have June. Let's see, January, February, March, April, June. Oh, July. So we have the month of July. And let's do a double digit date in July. We've got July. Whoops. Oh, well, it's not a double digit, so let's do it over. That's kind of close to 4th of July. Let's get something away from that. Well, we've got July 5th. Let's change this to July 14th. Let's find a fun national holiday on July 14th. And what do we have? July 14th, the middle of summertime fun. And we have, oh, okay. Well, here's a fun one for sure. We have National Mac and Cheese Day. So let's note this. For our story spark, we have National Mac and Cheese Day. Let's start improving some different story ideas. So let's say we have our first character, and let's say her name is Anna. And Anna is working at the mac and cheese factory. She is working overtime to meet the demand for National Mac and Cheese Day. And suddenly, powder flies out of one of the machines, clogging up everything. A warning, alarm, sounds, and everything shuts down. Dot, dot, dot. There's one direction. Let's go another direction here. Kevin is babysitting his twin sisters. His mom told him to make sure they eat dinner. He left a healthy salad in the fridge. But as soon as she leaves, the twins start to scream, "Mac and cheese! Mac and cheese!" Kevin shrugs and pulls out the blue box. Dot, dot, dot. We can also go another direction. Let's go over here. And let's say we have Julie. Julie is waiting in the park for her blind date. He signed all his letters M. She wonders what his real name is. He walks up. His hair shocks her. It's rather a bright orangey yellow. "Hey," he says, "I'm Mac. Dot, dot, dot." And let's go one more direction. And let's say we have Morris. Morris is delivering the mail. He notices that one envelope looks especially different. It's bright yellow. It has little pasta shapes stamped all over it. When he turns it over, He's surprised to see that it's addressed to him. Dot, dot, dot. Okay, there you have 4 different story ideas. If you had another story idea come to mind, I definitely encourage you to go in your own direction. Remember that these prompts are simply an idea. You could go with anything to do with mac, to do with cheese, anything related to mac or cheese in any sort of way. It doesn't have to be about the National Mac and Cheese Day altogether. I was thinking you could go with a Big Mac, you could go with any type of cheese, you could go with something that's cheesy, you could go with macaroni. Any way you would like to go is up to you. This is simply to get your brain warmed up and to start moving you in a direction. Now, before we start writing, let me remind you of the tilt philosophy. Remember, with tilt, our goal is to finish a story. And how do we finish a story? We want to keep our hand and our brain moving. And how do we do that? We keep going. Remember, if you need to add a dash of magic or something that might be impossible, that is encouraged, because you can always revise a first draft. But what do I say? You can never revise a draft that you haven't written. Okay, in a moment I'm going to ring the bell and we are going to jump in and write our 10-minute story. If you would like to write along today, go ahead and get your tilt template ready. Grab your pens. I am going to be talking as I work through my story. This is to model the process for you. I will also be tilting my hourglass twice. This is a 4.5-minute hourglass, so you will see it's going to run out a little bit both times. If you prefer a quiet writing session, now is the time to put this video on mute. If you're watching the recording, it can also be fun to mute the video and put the speed on 2 or 3 times. It's fun to watch my hand fill the paper in rapid, messy succession. I'm going to ring my little nurse bell here and we are going to get this story started. I'm at the school and I'm delivering the mail to the teachers. I'm the receptionist who answers the phone and deals with the angry parents, tells the kids to wait for the principal. You know the drill. As I'm finishing up, I notice a bright yellow envelope in the mix, and I flip it over, see more about it. It's a bit intriguing. It has pasta shapes stamped all over it, and it says you're invited on the outside. What's even better is that I don't have to snoop this time because it's addressed to me. I pause between classrooms and open it up. It's an invite for all the staff. Of course, not that special, but okay. I don't always get invited to all these things. For a National Mac and Cheese Day event, there will be prizes, free food, and the chance to win $100 gift card. And I frown. It's happening today. Well, that's kind of sudden. You would think that the big K reps would plan a little better than this. I think to my calendar in my head. I guess I have time. It's not like I have any other plans this afternoon. I won't have time to run home. But I forget about it as I get back to my busy office. Kids these days, these twins, the new ones, they are driving everyone crazy. They are named M and yes, and they think they own this school. I've already had to call their parents numerous times. And they are just one bad thing away from being suspended. Honestly, I hope it's I watch as M, bright orange hair, heads back to the principal's office as Chaz lowers at me. The school bell rings before I know what happens to the kids. I do my final daily tasks and excitedly head to the party. It will be a nice break, and I can't wait to spill the tea that the twins were in the office again. I follow the address to the park for the party, and darn it, I think I'm the first one there. I walk over to a canopy that says reserved for National Mac and Cheese Day. Okay, I am in the right spot. I sit down and just as I do, I feel the first hit. Yikes, I yell. I am slammed with fist after fist full of hot macaroni and cheese. I tried to run, but the gooey cheese feels like it's trapped me, almost like quicksand, and I can't see anything out of my. Then I hear the voice. The voice is, that's what happens when you mess with M and J's. It's the twins. How cheesy. That's the end of my story for the day. If you're in a good flow, I encourage you to keep writing. When I upload the video, I will include the story prompt. I will include the 4 creative writing ideas as well as a synopsis of my micro story. I will also include a comment about what I might change in the story if I was going to revise it. If you enjoyed this writing workshop today, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I look forward to writing with you again soon. Thank you for being here today. I will see you very soon.